Welcome to the UIUX Bootcamp. My name is Collins Davis Charles, and I'm the product designer and instructor for this course. So, I wish you best of luck as you begin with us, and I want to assure you that by the time you're done with this class, you'll be proud to be a product designer. Thank you for joining us, and God bless you. See you in class.
Okay, you can see my screen now, right? It signifies, alright. Okay, so someone said they can hear me, so I want to believe that every other person still can hear me. Although the network is not very stable, but I hope we can work with that. Alright, so guys, I asked a question earlier on. I said, how many of us have come across UIUX before? Um, is there anything we can say about UIUX? But everybody was silent. So I'm gonna take the bow now. So this is your year. Let me start this way. Um, sometimes we might be thinking about UIUX is gonna be maybe a big something, or you have to learn so many things, or you have to um, come across so many knowledge. You know, it's going to be very hard to learn. I can tell you for a fact that it's not hard to learn. It just takes time, attention, and consistency. You know, when you are doing, the more you are doing it, the more you understand it. And I think that's how it applies in every form of design. The more you do it, even any kind of job, the more you are getting familiar with it, the more you get to understand the syntax behind it and the knowledge behind everything. Because when you come across a point that you don't know, you want to learn more, and you want to get more idea and all that. So, if how today's class you are going to understand uh, what UI is, and we're also going to understand what UX is. Just in case you can't hear me, please just signify any point in time. Right? So when you say UI UX, they are not together. They are together but different. They have different meanings. Some people are just UI designers. Some people are just UX designers. And some people are both UI UX designers. Right? So to be a product designer, you have to be a UI UX designer. So when somebody calls you outside, he or she or you, that girl, that guy is a UX designer. What they are trying to say is that you are a product designer. Or that guy is a product designer. What they are trying to say is that you are a UI UX designer. So if you are just UI designer, then you are not yet a product designer. Maybe you are still on your destination to completion, right? So you have to be a UI designer to be called a product designer. So these are the things you'll be coming to understand in this class. You are going to learn the UX design process. Now, what are the ideas? What are the principles? What are the um, knowledge behind design process? And I want you to know that you may not learn everything all at once, but whatever you learn, you're supposed to teach yourself more on it and then get to understand it. That's the essence of this class, is to get you involved and engaged in it. You understand? So, for example, when you are given an assignment, you are expected to come back with the results of the assignment. That means you're supposed to go home and do something about it, not just put it down. So, you're going to also explore other design careers, like I said, I told you there are other design careers as well. And some people might not want to be a UI designer, but probably they want to be a graphic designer, that's visual designer, or they want to be some other form of designers and all that. So we'll be seeing that in the class. Um, I'm going to even ask you a question. What's your favorite app and why? So discuss the UIUX strengths. We're going to talk about the UIUX strengths and weaknesses. Why is where like when you say this an entity, what's the strength of UIUX and what's also the weakness? Discuss the UX process. And one thing is that we're also going to create a Figma file, Figma slide. Now, the tools we are going to be using for this course is Figma. We have a lot of tools. We have Adobe, we have Adobe XD, we have InVision, you know, we have other tools that they use in creating mobile apps, designing mobile apps, web apps. But for this class, from beginning to the end, we're going to be using Figma. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to create an account on Figma, how to download Figma on your system so that you can start using it for learning and practicals. Alright, I'm just going to show you around the interface, and then when we start proper in the class, we're going to do one or two things about the course. So please, let's tighten our belt. Let's get ready. Now the idea of this classes is that it's going to happen once in a week. Normally, to finish this entire course, let me show you from here. But like I said, I need you to understand what you are getting into so that you prepare your mind. Alright? Alright. So this is a schedule. You can see we have about how many weeks? We have 12 weeks for this course. I hope you can see my screen. You have to learn UIUX design thinking and human centered design, UIUX research. How do you have to make a searches about a particular product, to build a product, things that you need to put into consideration while building a product, you know, development, moving the product from the development stage to to the production stage. The things that require you as a product person, the analysis, the research that you need to make. Most times, product managers do this job. Sometimes it's good that even a UIUX designer understands these basic principles why designing products. That's why you are a UX research designer as well. So you need to understand that. You need to understand information architecture, wireframing, prototyping. These are the points you start doing hands-on and all that. You have an assignment. It says to start a project and all that. We're going to do with real life projects and all those things. So that it can just be that you are you are learning. Now guys, quickly, this meeting might end will end in the next 10 minutes, but we are going to restart another one once it ends. We're going to restart another one. So when we start, you just join back. So we continue. Alright. This class is supposed to hold for 2 hours. Anyway, so with seven visual designs, that's the UI design aspect. We'll be doing the UX design aspect, we'll be doing the UI design aspect, reliability interaction design, testing and iteration, the tools and collaboration, learn more about that tools, the portfolio, career prep, and at the end of the project, you're going to have the final project that we're given to you, right, to be done in under 2 weeks. 2 weeks submission. You're going to work on the project, before you receive your certificate at the end of the course, right? So, and also one of the things we've been enjoying in this cohort is mentorship. We be added to a group where job job will be posted on UIUX so that you can apply for jobs and all that. And we also be doing follow up. So as you are learning, maybe sometimes you need to reach out to someone who can mentor you or guide you on through some things. We'll be doing that for you. So you have a lot to gain from this course. So and I can tell you for the fact that this knowledge, once you gain it for life. And and it's not very difficult to get, right? So after this class, if you are going to continue for the next class, you have to register. That registration form will be sent to everyone on the group, and it's also going to come with a price. You understand? Just 50,000 naira to continue the entire project. But one thing I did is that you can split the money into two, right? You can pay 30,000 naira first for the first month, then the second month you're going to balance up. So you can pay it first because you understand the situation of the country and you're trying as much as possible to contribute with people so that it can be easy for them to learn and as well pay for what they're learning. I'm telling you, the price is very small compared to what people are paying to learn the entire course nowadays. So it's a great privilege and for a great privilege and great opportunity for you to grasp, work towards it, right? So let's start with like I said, this week one now is just a quick class, is to meet to you, telling you everything you need to know about this course, what you should be expecting, and also get comments from people you understand. So and I'm gonna also tell you why you're learning the course. You understand? So that's what I started. I just said let me take you through the entire week again before I start. Alright? So going back. Alright, okay. Okay. So this class, this particular link is going to end in the next uh 5 to 6 minutes. So once it ends, we're going to restart another one of continue. Alright, so this does the transfer aspect of everything, right? So first thing is what you are here. So just please pay attention. If you have a pen and a book there, or you have a note with you, make sure you take them down, right? And at the end of every message, you're going to be sending the what they call it, the the record, so that you can always go back and listen to the class. Okay, right? So UI means user interface. When you say UI, UX, what the UI there means is user interface. Why UX means user experience. You can see it here. Why UX means user experience. So what you have to do with as a product designer is the user interface, that's the design and the user experience. So what's your user or your client or your whatever you want to call them, anybody using your product, your digital product, what experience are they having with the mobile application or with the web application? It's very important for you as a product designer to know that so that you can improve on it, right? Um, so like I said, the UI focus, the user interface, that's UI, focuses more on what the user sees. You know, what are they using their eyes to see? the colors, the typography, that's the text, the buttons, the layout, just like our WhatsApp nowadays now or any application that we use. Those things that we are looking at, that people are saying, wow, I like this thing, I like the way this design is. It's done by you, a UI person, right? A UI designer. So um the looks of the product is what is what is very paramount to the UI designer. Why for the UX, they focus more on the user experience, like the research, the personnel, the user flow, usability testing. Now, it's more or less like um, what's our target audience? When we create a product, what are the things that we expect our audience to expect from our app? How do they enjoy our app? How should they use our app? All those things. So that's what the UX guy or the UX designer focuses more on. Do you understand? So you as a person who wants to be a UI designer, what comes onto your mind is what my user experiences with my app, how well are they using the app, my target audience, you know, and do they enjoy what they see? Do they enjoy looking at what they see? Because nobody likes to see rubbish, you understand? So everybody wants to see something that they want to see. So it has to be appealing to their eyes. So those are the things we put into consideration when you are making your design. I hope you are following, right? So like I said, so a personality who understands both can be regarded as a product designer. So if you understand both UI, you can now be called a product designer. Right? So if you are saying, I don't want to do only UI, I don't want to do only UX, so you're not yet a product designer. You are just probably a UI designer or a UX designer. But a product designer requires the UI, the UX, and the strategy. That's the way you go about making that product. So that's what makes you a product designer. And what you want to become here is a product designer. So you have a lot of things you would learn and be useful for you um, in life, home and abroad. Everywhere in the world, people are looking for product designers. So before I proceed, the meeting is about to end in a minute. So we are just going to restart the meeting like we said. So please just stay tuned. So moving to the importance of UIUX, we put the design process and all that. Okay, the strengths and weaknesses of UIUX, explore design path and introduction to feedback. So let's just um so let's restart the meeting, okay? Let's restart the meeting. As if this thing did not close it. Can you hear me guys?
Yes, we can hear you.
Alright, thank you. Um so this is one of those things. So that all the product designer you have to um know the basis you have to know the basis of UI and UX design and as well as apply some strategy in your design process. Do you understand? So it's very important that you are become the so that's why you're in this class. That's why you're learning. You are training you to become product designer, right? So Now, what's the importance of UIUX? Now, instead, the importance of UIUX is to improve user satisfaction and referral. Now, how do they improve user satisfaction and referral? Do you know that the way it's easy for users to say, okay, I don't like I don't like this particular thing on the product. I don't like this. I don't like that. It's easy to work on them. And it's easy to make adjustments. It's easy to make changes. Imagine those days where you have to just be coding. And maybe there was no product designer. Just have to be coding. You code the template, you code everything. You know, it can be time consuming and all that. So it improves user satisfaction and definitely people like your work. You see that A will refer B, B will refer C will refer D like that. Before you know, people get to understand how get to see your work rather, and it claim that okay, if this guy can do something like this for you, then let him do it for us. Before you know it, you have a lot of clients and you're making money. So it also saves time and reduce cost. It's cheaper to fix design issues earlier and after development. And you can see that before we move into development, before we start developing a particular app, right, we have been designing first. So during usability testing, when they are testing the app, and it's easy for the sometimes you go to test with the client. The client is like, oh, I like this, I don't like this. So you can make adjustments easily and early before they now start development. Because after designing, you have to give it to the front end designer, the back end designer, for them to now bring the design into life. So imagine you made an error while designing and then you didn't fix the error. By the time they start developing, right? By the time they start developing the app, you discover that you have to come back and fix that error before the developer now works on it again. So it's a lot of work. So that's why UIX is important. It allows you to fix designs early. Then number three, it boosts business growth. And that's true. You know, you've heard of WordPress. You've heard of using WordPress to design web applications and all that. How many of you have ever noticed that all these WordPress applications, they are not really giving this HD content. Like the stuff is not the stuff is not clear. I don't know how I can explain it, but it's not really clean. Or like when you use Figma to design, which we were seeing at times as we move on with the graphics and all that, and when we're doing assignments, we're seeing them and everything. So it's very clear. The quality is sharp, vector quality. You know, you can use that to design mobile application, web application, and then when clients see they feel like they like it, you understand. So with that, when people see good websites, good application, it gives users it gives them a good taste when they are appalled by a particular design. They're like, wow, I love this design. You know, they want to use that application, they want to use our website because of why they like what they saw, right? So that's the way it actually goes. But somebody choose a useless app or let me say the app that is not catchy or is not, it's not attractive. You know, just go to it and drop the phone. So you need to do something that people will like, right? So it improves number four, it improves accessibility and inclusivity. A good UX considers all the users, including people with disabilities. So you see, when you are building an app or you are designing an app or designing a website, an app most especially because when app is more is broad than website. So yeah, building an app. First thing that comes to your mind is who are the people that will be using this app? And you need to look at people of all ages, right? You need to consider people of all ages. You need to take people into consideration, like this guy that does not have a hand, how can he use this app? Like you need to have a not really headache, I don't call it headache, but you need to think about them. You need to think about everybody. You need to think about everybody that will be using the app. How can they benefit from how can they use this app? So these are the things that the UIUX does. It gives you the room to think about everybody, to put everybody into consideration, right? When you want to design an app. So number five, it builds brand trust and credibility. Now, like I said, if if you are if you design an application and you want to sell it to investors, right? You want to sell it to investors, and investors see the design and be like, wow, this design is awesome. Like, they are very, very interested in design. Why? Because it looks good. It looks good. And not just that again, your prototype, the buttons are clicking, everywhere, everything is going well, everything is going fine. So they would want to, you know, trust your product. That same goes to when all this let me call it, okay, let me use money point, OP that you are using nowadays. The reason why we can beat our chest and say I have money in my OP account is because we trust the product. If you hear that OP has already if you hear that OP ran away, God, if you hear that OP ran away now, you won't use the app again. You would even want to really go and remove your money from the app. Why? Because hold on a second. Okay, so why? Because somebody has breached your trust. You can't trust the app again because they are not stealing people money. Okay, see this time of CBEX now. I want to believe is that some designers just came together and built the application. And people were using it. Why? Because they were able to gain trust in the product. But when the CBEX crashed, what happened? Everybody started to find their. In fact, some people were even dismayed and all that. So that is one thing about your UI design. It builds confidence and trust in people and in brands, in products. It builds confidence. So that's the essence of the importance of UI. That's one. Then number six, it gives competitive advantage. The market is similar app product, the best UX wins. I'm telling you. For example now, it's not everybody that we have Open, we have Kuda, we have Money Point, we have Fair Money. We have a lot of these guys in the market. But why is it that everybody prefers to use Open? Why is it that everybody wants to do every transaction with Open? Maybe because Open is faster. And does that mean Kuda is not faster? Some people have their preferences when they are picking products. For example, now, if I come up with a new product now that is a financial product like Open and the rest now, somebody will be contemplating, make I not go use this app for when they don't carry my money go. You understand? They will begin to think about a lot of things because there is no trust. But when you have the best UX, you consider people just like you consider ages, you build the best, your designs are appropriate, you put a lot of design process to ensure that the product functions properly. And people begin to see that. For example, that's why they do this adverts and all. They begin to see all these things in their advert. They'll be like, really, really, are you serious? Before you know it, they've left OPay alone. They've come to your own product. So that's how it works. Do you get? So it gives you competitive advantage. And number seven, that it enhances okay, I mean, I hope you can hear me clearly. I hope you can hear me. All right, so uh, uh, taking that. All right, so you give competitive advantage in a market with okay, no, we've talked about that. Seven, enhances product strategy. Now this helps companies build features that matter, not waste resources on unnecessary ones. And you see, sometimes when you are designing, you need to understand product strategy. You need to understand what is needed, the need of a company or a client. You need to understand their need. So that you not just be putting pictures that are not relevant. You say you want the product to be very, you put what is needed. That's the essence of product strategy. You won't just be wasting time on a particular design. You will know that, okay, this is what they need, this is what the user needs, this is what, as time goes on, if you need to now improve on the app, you can now improve on it. It means that because as time goes on, the needs and the wants of a particular product increases. So you can grow with the trend. You get so for a start, you start well, you start in a way that okay, this suits the user's what do you call it? This is the user's address. You understand? So please, it's, it's very important that we understand the product strategy anytime we are designing any application. And that's how we are learning UIUX, so that we understand this thing. Before you even build an app, you realize that you need to do user flow. You need to create a user flow. You need to create how the user will run from the start state to the end state. When the user is using a particular app, how is he going to run from the beginning of maybe the start screen to the logout session? You need to create a user flow for you to understand the needs of the client. So these are all these user researches are the things that we put together that helps us build a very good product. Because some of us are bad guys, We can just um we can just, come to open our Figma now and just start designing. But the thing there is that we already have that UX research and design we already have the principles in our head. We are just applying it. You understand? Because there is no way you can design any product without any construction or without any back end preparation. It's very important, right? So it encourages customer retention. If a user stays with app and website that are easy to use, it's true. The reason why people are using OP is because I think OP is very easy to use, right? It's very easy to use. And there are some other products like that. It's easy to use. They don't have to wait long hours for a particular registration session to, some people instead of doing all those, your first name, your last name, your next of kin, your address, address one, address two, address three, just because you want to register. They just tell you register with your phone number and email, and then you verify with your account. You cannot be doing all those setup on your profile. Then you don't have to be doing that when you are onboarding people into a particular app. These are strategies that you need to know. And then a user wants to check out or wants to pay for a product online, the user can just order and check out seamlessly without having to go through a lot of steps. We announce them stay. So these are the importance of UIUX, and at least from here you can see why you need to um, know what you are doing when you are designing applications, right? So this for importance. Now move to the design process, right? So most things um, human-centered architecture process, a common framework is the design thinking. process which can be adapted to product design product now. So um, most things use yeah, most things use human centered iterative process. Now human centered is just like you you are very much concerned about your what your user needs. Yeah, let me use the word, you're emotional about them. Okay, these are the you are basically following what they need. You are not just using some step to step design process, right? So but we think going further into all these things, right? But I'm still gonna talk about, like I said, we're gonna talk about humans, but it's just an introduction. It's just an introduction. We have what do you call it? We have the human centered and we have the um, method kind of design process where you have to follow it step by step. For human centered, you need to understand how they feel, what they say. You need to apply. Um, you need to know what the user feels about the product. You need to know what the user feels about the product. You need to know what the user will do about it. It's just based on the human or the user in that process. You understand? So that's the difference between the two of them, the human centered and the methodological design process, you understand? So um the stage of design process. Now the stages are just simple. Like the empathize stage, that's the empathy stage. Now you understand the users, you learn about the users and their problems, you understand. And how do you learn about the users and problems? You carry out research, you carry out interviews, you carry out survey, observation. I remember then when we were in school, you asked us to do final year project, and then you have to do a survey. For those people that used to do all those botany, and you start asking questions up and down. You doing paper. Why? The reason why you are doing all this is because you need to get information about the project you want to work on. So that's what the empathy stage does for you. You understand the user. Okay, this is what the user would possibly want to do. Then you can do a one-on-one discussion with someone. I have this app, I've really heard something similar to the app, like maybe a app that's already existing, and then you talk about what they think about such kind of app. The information can help you improve your app. So maybe observation, you observe some other apps that are similar to the app that you're doing, and you're saying, okay, this is one thing they are not doing. I can put this into my own product. You look at their own to make your own better. Do you understand? So that's what it does. That's what the empathize stage does. Now, number two, the define stage. You identify the problem, right? You clearly state the problem you are solving. Definitely, I think that applies to life too. Whenever you want to deal with something, one of the first things you should do is to understand the problem, the problem specification. You need to know the problem you are dealing with, right? So that you can now then start working on it. And what are the activities that we are going to use in identifying this problem? You analyze the research. Now, after you've done your research and your observation, your interview, your survey, or whatsoever, you analyze it. Okay, this is what A will do, this is what B will do. Okay, okay. Then you create personnel. Personnel where you know your target audience. For example, like for you are doing a course app, you put your teachers in constitution, the students in constitution, other users as well. These are personnel. You understand? So you also define the user need. Okay, what does the user need like for this particular app? You define it. There's no abstract something. You need to be real with everything you are doing for it to be a real product. You bring the abstractness to the realness, do you understand? And then you can now actualize the the idea, which is the idea stage. You generate ideas, you brainstorm possible solutions. Now you have all this information, you have all these problems broken down into pieces, then you brainstorm, right? You start sketching, you start mind mapping, you start your thinking, okay, the user will do this, the user will do that. You are brainstorming every session, the order, okay, where the user will make orders. You're also brainstorming where the user would, okay, onboarding, okay, the user would enter through their phone number, then you verify their phone number, then verify, all these things, moving into the app, the home page, on the home page, you just be brainstorming these things, and then before you know it, you start building concepts. That's the prototype. Create representation of this ideas to text. Now that's what brings about your design and your wireframe and prototyping. When you draw out wireframes, you might not know what a wireframe is now, but the wireframe is just like, let me say, a dummy or a subject to the real thing. You just do a sketch of design. Okay, this is what the onboarding will look like. Now this is what the start saying, then the registration. This is how. So you're not going to design something, or let me say, I call it box. This on box says, okay, from here to move to this point and all that. Before, all those box stuff, designing box, drawing box up and down, it gives you an idea of, okay, this is what you want to do, right? Then you can now start thinking properly about what the design will now look like. So a prototype is just like something that looks like the real thing, right? So the create representation of these ideas, and that's what the prototype there is the good wireframe. Right? It looks like the real thing, but it's not the real one. It looks like it. Then it will now help you discover or develop the real one. That's what the wireframe does. So you can see activities the wireframing, mock-up, interactive prototype. Now one thing about this is that when you do wireframe, you can now draw links from one page to another to see how, okay, if I click on order, it's going to move to this next page. All these things that you are building concepts, you're understanding the design, you're understanding the product, you understand. So you'll be learning all these things as we move further into the class. Uh, then number five, you test, right? You test, you validate the users, check if the solution works for you users. Now, when you now build all these prototypes, you build the app, you design, you do all these things. Before you give it to developers you are going to test the app. You test it, you test it. Then when you test the app, you test the app on your phone. You test the app on your phone. Yeah, it's not live. It's just a dummy, right? You're going to test the app on your phone, right? Okay, if I click here, sometimes when you are testing, it looks as if you are using the real app. The difference between the testing and the real app is that the testing is not live. It's not online. It's not that everybody can see it online. It's only you that can see it because the APK or whatever is sent to you. It's only you that can test it. But if it's online, if it's published online, they can just go there, download it, and use it from online. That's the difference between test and live. So you test it with real people. If you see that it works well, then what remains, you can now move it to live. Everybody can use it, right? Then number six, implement, implement and build. So after test and see that it works well, like I said, the ability test, able test, collecting feedback and all that. When you test, people will tell you this stuff, this stuff is not clicking well, this stuff is not going into the right point, this stuff is not doing well. You understand? So you put all this feedback into consideration and implement. You build, work on it, improve it, and before you know it, you have a better app that you have designed already. Then you can now move it to the developers to work on it, bring the design to life, right? That's where the hands off from the design, and then the the entire team, which from the developers, will now take take up the work from there, right? And that's what brings about the software engineering, project where you have the product designer, you have the software engineer, you have the front end, you have the back end, you have the QA, you have the project managers. All of them are under software engineering. So if they say you're a software engineer, it simply means that you can work a project from beginning to the end. The beginning, that's the product idea stage to the production stage. Now, the user does not want to care how you are going to make that happen. If you need to hire people, maybe software engineers, hire them to make that project come to life. Then do it. All the client does is that they just pay you for the job. But if you are just a product designer, you know that okay, the only thing I'm doing here is just making research and then designing the app and all that. So you can see the difference between the two of them. But some people usually mistake software engineers, they are the ones that are coding. No, software engineers are not, software developers are the coders. But software engineers are the ones that work the project from beginning to the end. Some of them, these software engineers can, sometimes they regard them as project managers. The thing there is that they can actually engineer a project from beginning to the end. Back from the development to the designing stage, the idea stage, the designing stage, development stage, the iterative stage, and all that the, to the end stage, right? Okay, so guys, we're going to do that thing we did again. We're going to do it again. So if the class is about to end, we're going to restart the class again, and then till we finish the rest that we have for today. I hope you got that, right? So, iterate. Now, number 7, iterate, continuous improvement. That's what the iteration does. You've designed the app, you've developed the app, now the app is working, the app is functional, everybody is using the app. But as time goes on, you need to improve on the app. You need to improve on the app. So that's where the iteration comes in. It goes all about, okay, okay. That's why you see that they'll tell you update your app in the next 5 days. Update your app in the next 3 days. Your app is out of date. Because there is always a new improvement day by day. Just like the way we renew our life. That's the way we also need to renew this app. We need to modify them, we need to improve them. Because tastes and wants and needs are changing day by day. It's just I don't like this one to be here again. Let it now be here, let it be new, let it be fine. New ideas will come in. Before you know it, you can iterate on that app from time to time. And trust me, if you have a particular client that gives you a particular job, and then or you built the app, you designed the app, you've done everything, and then they need to iterate on that app over and over and over again. It's you they will be calling. And just think about it. Every time they call you to iterate, they are paying you money. So don't think that when they give you one project, that's the end. Then you now say, I've finished this project, so thank God, then you go. When they need you again, they will call you. And we need to work on this. In fact, research is going on. We need to work on this, we need to work on this, we need to work on this. And as I doing that, they are paying you. So this is the fun of this job. And you just tend to understand that it does not end when you have finished the project. It continues. Anything you want to do on it, they will call you again. Anything you want to do on it, they will call you again. Because you are the product designer. That is it. Alright, so the strength and weaknesses of UIUX. Um, the strength and weaknesses of UIUX. Okay. So number 1, accessibility. The strength, accessibility and inclusivity. Accessibility and inclusivity. Like I said the other time, the app is accessible to all age. You also think about people who are disabled. You have the app and use the app and all these things. So sometimes they put all these things into consideration. depending on the user needs. So some users will tell you, please, I also want someone who is able to be able to use the app. So you need to find a way to ensure that they are able to use the app. Right? The weakness there is might be time consuming, yes, but sometimes you need to take you can take up to like 3 months to build an app. Some people take 6 months, some people take a month. But nowadays, in Nigeria, yeah, nowadays, these companies, they don't send you. Nowadays, they can tell you, give us an app, give, give us an app in the next 1 month. So you see where expertise comes in. Give us an app in the next 1 month. This particular, they tell you, blah, 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 blah. Why? Because they feel like they're going to pay you. Tell me, see, we even have students that do apps now in 2 weeks. They just, templates and all these things. Put them together and put in an action stand. Alright, so for a real app that you really need to work on it, you need to do something on it, you need to um build on it. The highest is 3 months. The highest is 3 months as a product designer, the highest is 3 months. For you to research, wireframe, prototype, and design the app, and also carry out the usability testing and all these things. Maximum is 3 months. So when clients come to me and tell you I want to design an app, uh, depending on what the app is, the kind of app you want to design, the number of time and months they are going to be paying for, or number of months they are going to be able to design here. So all these things you need to understand them too, right? So number two, strength. The strength of UIUX improve business success, like you mentioned in the importance. Weakness, costly at the start. Okay, so guys, can you hear me now? So what I was saying before that, the strength and weakness of UIUX. So I said for
Yes.
all right, good, thank you. Um, for the third one, so for the third one, the user-centered approach. That's the strength of the UIUX, the user-centered approach. Um, like we've been saying, when you want to design an application, you want to design an app, it's also very important that you understand your user needs. You know, so it's user centered basically, because you can't design what your user does not want. They'll send you back. They'll tell you are doing your own, right? So you have to think about what they want for themselves and how they want their app. They may not have the full picture of what the app will look like. That's the crazy thing about it. But they can communicate what they want. So you need to understand. That's the empathize stage of design process that we are doing here. The empathy, you need to understand your user, right? So you can carry out their project. Now, the weakness is subjectivity in design. Now, subjectivity in the sense that um, you have to you have to you have to follow some kind of conditions. You just have to follow some kind of conditions. You can't just do anything. You are subject to the user. You are subject to the needs. You just need to understand that it has to be like this. It has to be like this. So not everybody really likes that, but it's something you need to train yourself about um, when you are designing applications and all. Okay. So number four, reduce. Number four is reduce development cost. Yeah, because these days before we even started doing UIS and all that thing, people were just coding, 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 coding. And you know how much they are paying for developers like those days now? Well, they're still hot cake now, but they were hot cakes, very hot cakes then, because without them nothing could have happened, so to speak. But now we have UI design and all those things. So the cost of designing maybe a button, do you understand, or a box or whatever you want to design. It's not now because I cannot go to Figma and not do all these things. And the only thing a developer is just doing is just activating that button, activating that particular shape or whatever I designed to life. So it really reduces cost on doing that. And the weakness is that constant iteration is needed. And that's true. You need to check, you need to iterate, you need to check the app, you need to check for improvements every time. You need to make sure the app is updated. You need to make sure um, needs are met. You need to you have a bit of work as a senior designer. You need to be updated with the research. You understand? That would help you, organize the product or the app properly as time goes on. So when they say, oh, my app now is already using AI, even sometimes maybe the app was not using AI before. So it's for you to understand that technology has come to a point that AI is being used. So I have to now use AI for this app. So what are the things I need to? Alright guys, so number five, to build trust and brand loyalty. Um, discover that when you want to build trust and loyalty with your investors, you have to pitch your design, you have to talk about your design, you have to talk about how your design is easy to use. You have to make sure your investors are interested in your product. That's where the building of trust and brand loyalty comes in. The building of trust rather. But the brand loyalty is that when people have now started using your app, they enjoy your app is easy to use, your app is user friendly and all of that, then you discover that over time people begin to um testify about your app that they like your app and all these things and all that. Most of these app developers or app designers, we don't know them, but we just know that people like this, like that. So over time, a lot of people start buying your app. So it's such that they understand the signature of your app. For example, now if you publish a particular app and people have started using it, and then you publish another app, they'll be like, this app and this app, it seems like it's the same people that did this app. So sometimes you can understand signature, like Samsung now. Um, when Samsung comes out, you know this is Samsung. When iPhone comes out, you know this is iPhone. When Android comes out, you know this is the Android. They come with their signature. So that's how it happens sometimes. You can also have your own signature to your designs, and when they say they tend to identify it and all this. So brands build loyalty by that as well. So it also depends on the weakness is that it depends on collaboration. You're going to collaborate with product managers, um, software engineers, software developers, QAs, and all those things, and other software guys in the engineering process. So you need to communicate well. You need to be clear. You need to be concise. All those things. You need to put them into consideration. You need to know them. You need to train yourself with some other soft skills like that. Because collaboration is a soft skill, and these are one of the things they're going to be learning in the course. Also, you learn to work in group, you do assignments together, then you already know that okay, I can work with this team B and team C. I can work to form a very big project and all that. So it's very important that you learn collaboration because it's actually dependent sometimes when you're dealing with large products on collaboration. So number six, the strength is encouraging innovation. Definitely when you come up with your design ideas, um, or you come up with a product, you understand, you define the kind of product you want to work on, you do a lot of research, now you have a lot of information here and there, that and that. So you begin to think, you begin to ideate, you know, that's the work of it, that's the function of innovation. You begin to, okay, how can I make this better? How can I expand this? How can I make this, presentable? How can I make it easy to use? And all of that. So it encourages innovation. And the weakness is that not always valued by businesses. Some businesses, some of them they like a quick, what do you call it? A quick site. Maybe some people client don't want a website. I want someone to build a website. They don't want to go through designers, software developers, and all this. They just want a web designer. Maybe all these WordPress guys that make web application using WordPress, you know, which I did sometimes, back then, So you just design websites and all those things, and then just give them. So you notice that this WordPress, like I said, I don't know if I mentioned this in this class, that you can't really get quality, right? You can't really get quality unlike when you use a Figma or Adobe X, you use a design tool like Figma to build a web application. You get quality, the definition of content, or I mean the the clarity of the content that you're using. It's not going to be blurry. It's just going to be sharp, and you have the time, you have the space to design the whole entire application the way you want it to be. So most businesses don't want to go through that. They want it quick. So, but if you check it, some businesses, right, but if you check abroad, some other companies that are wide, they are going up wide and all that. They want quality. All these companies that want quality, they will come after you. They will come after your design. Most of the time working abroad, working for clients abroad, you have most of them need product designers because nobody will tell you bring a WordPress guy from. No, I've not seen anything like that. Or to my friends, they always need a UIUX person. So imagine you're a UIUX person, you stand a chance to apply for their job, and you can do a lot of things for them, and you can also do a lot of projects for yourself. You can sell them, you can invest them, and make yourself some money. You understand? So the most important thing is that you understand the strength, you understand the weakness, and know how to work with them. Now there are um, other design paths. Here are design career paths that you can explore. You know, you have a UI UX designer. I mean, you have UX designer works on it, what the product feels or ensures is easy to use. And the product feels like, what does the client feel like when they see a particular product? How do they react to the particular product? So that's what the UX or user experience designer is concerned about the experience of the user, right? The UI designer, user interface designer, focus on the appearance and the looks of the design of the product. Now, I want to build an app to build a website. What I just look out for is let the website be looking nice and appealing to the eyes, appealing rather to the eyes of the users. While for a product designer, it's a combination of this in an hybrid you can say, hybrid of the UX and the UI plus strategy. That you need to understand strategy. You need to know how to go about making your product the number one product out there. Then the UX researcher specializing on user research, desk research, then interaction design, focus on micro interaction and user behavior, you know, prototypes, that's what, you know, um, user behavior, like example, what do you call it? the the how the user would react to the user journey, yes, how the user is going to use a particular product from beginning to the end. You understand? So that's the function of a UX or interaction designer. It is based on interaction. You know, how am I going to do this thing? How am I going to use this thing as a user? So it works based on that. Now, for a visual designer or graphic designer, I'm focusing on branding and aesthetics of digital products. So you want to brand a particular thing when you are done with designing a particular app, you now want to brand it, you know, that's what the graphic designer for help you branding product, you create mock-ups and all of those things. You understand? Like when I create last project I did for a client in in um in the US, oh no, sorry, in the UK at London. I did for a client. What did I had to create mock-ups, uh, fashion design and stuff. You know, after presenting the product, I think it's part of the package of the entire project I did for the client. So as a product designer, I also advise that you can also learn one or two things about graphic design, right? So it's very important. Um, but it's also a design part. Some people are just graphic designers and that's all they do. We also have a UX writer, content designer. This guy is just interested in writing, in the apps and the website, the boxes, error messages, and all those things. So the content, that's what the UX writer is all about. Information architecture, specializing in structuring content and navigation. Now, how you want the content to go, the structure of the content, the navigation from here to here, it gives you the information about the product. So if you are looking for a particular thing in a product, you can easily find it in the product from the information architecture. Do you understand? So you have the service designer goes beyond screen, design, entire service experience, and digital and physical. So I'm not just I'm not just concerned about how I want to be using the product on my Android phone. I'm also concerned about the compatibility of the product and my Android phone. So these are the things the service designer will look at, right? And some other things that have to do with the digital and the physical aspect of the product. That's what the service designer is looking at as well. So just imagine you are just a UI designer. You have to be collaborating with a lot of people. So you see why collaboration is very important and why you'll be learning it in this course. We're going to be designing. So you can see what the brother is doing, you can see what the sister is doing, you can see what your colleagues are doing, and while you learn, before you know it, oh, okay, you expand and you do a lot of practice, and you get the whole concept of what we are doing here. The design ops, design operation, they focus on managing the design team, workflows, and systems. So, visual flow, the system, is in the actual design operation. So they manage the team. So you see, in design operation is not just one person. It can actually be a couple of people, and one person has to manage them. For example, you go managing uh, the UX designer, you go managing the UI designer, uh, managing UX researcher. Just all the anything that has to do with design operation is in charge of it, right? So more or less like an overseer. Now for the last one, we have the front end designer, the UX engineer, the hybrid role of design and code. So this particular person designs and as well code what he designs. In the sense that he codes front end, he brings that design into life. Now we also have a back end engineer that will also that has to do with the database, the storing, the structuring, the way it works from behind the whole system, um, the what do you call it? the back end processes are done by the software engineer. So the what do you call it? The infrastructures that are online that keep the design or the application running is done by the software engineer. So you see, everybody has their function, but what you are learning here and what you'll be learning here is to be a product designer where you can apply your user experience skills and UI experience skills and strategy in making a wonderful product. Alright guys, so I'm gonna move to the next section which is about the end of this course and this week session introduction to Figma. I'm going to show you how to download Figma on your system, right? So just want to you can see it here, figma.com. Click on figma.com, right? Okay, I'm logged in, so I'm gonna log out now. I'm sure that I'm logging out, guys. Okay, let me log this out. I have two accounts logged in on this. Alright, so when we go type figma.com now, because I was logged in before, so it automatically logged me into my Figma account. So I've logged out now, so definitely gonna request me to log in. So this is the website for all that are just doing it for the first time. By the time you type figma.com, is the website. You can look at the website, you can see the wonderful things that they are doing on the website. That the wonderful things you're learning, you know. Uh, you can see two people or three hands, six collaboration. One is doing prototyping, one is designing, one is so these are the things you will learn, enjoying learning actually, because it's actually a lot of fun. Um, so you can see, you can draw, actually. One person is drawing here, one person is drawing. You can see you can build. Camera, draftsman, they are working together. You can also be commenting. Do you understand while you're working? These are okay. So publish, that. You can see this is the web, tablet, this is the mobile. The things you will learning as well too. Um, so this one beautiful thing I love about Figma is you can collaborate, and I think this applies to other tools. You can actually collaborate, you can work together as a team. It's very interesting. And this is Figma Jam. So these are where you're going to be saying Figma Jam. You can add a collection. Alright, just add something that most type a note, all that. Okay, the design, and you can also present your work. Alright, so this is the website. You can read one or two things and come and check them up. Right? So for this. And you can see for a fact that they designed this website using Figma. Very obvious. So when you come to the footer, you're going to see download. You click on download. So when you click on download, now you have the desktop app, you have mobile app, right? And you can also install some. But you know one thing, we are going to be using our laptop, right? Because I won't advise that we use mobile apps to be doing designing and all these things. I'm going to be using our laptop so that because most companies or organizations are using a system, not a phone. So you can maybe sometimes you're not close to your system and you're not hands on, you can use your phone for meetings. But if you're going to be hands on, you have to use your laptop. You have to use your laptop, right? Use your laptop, it's very important. And for those that are using Windows, you click on once you click on this desktop app for Windows, it starts downloading. I was downloading because I just said because I have it already. And if you are using for Mac OS, just click on one for Mac. And then, for me, I'm using Windows, so I just click on desktop app window and I download. So after I download, right, I will install the app. So when you install the app, this is what you will, this is where you will come to, right? You can add an account. I'm going to show you guys what you'll be expecting. So I already opened an account with this email, and I already have an account with this email. So I want to start it as if I'm just opening Figma for the first time. So you will also see what I'm saying, right? So you see this first thing they're gonna ask you. Um, so let's just say Bootcamp Academy, and I'm learning something, line, right? You can add some people you want to collaborate with. Uh, okay. And this is starter. What plan would you like to use? This is starter. So in the starter, you can use three files to work in basic design, prototyping, and collaboration. Which is, but for professional, you have to pay for this, and you'll be having unlimited files and folders and all that. And for an organization, we're going to be having much more features. So we're going to use this to start and finish. So this is what I'm going to do. So, alright, so this is what we're going to be missing. See, is that screen as fresh. I come here now. Something I want to show you guys. Once you click on Once you click on this group, you're going to say that you have four pages or four, let's say four Canva. You can actually use this four. You have four slots rather. So this is one already. Something like this. You can actually change it. You understand? So you can add one more. If you click on this now, all these that are here are the other accounts I've already created. My other account that is logged in. So once you something I want to show you guys. So when you click a new file, click a new file, this is how you design, which is what I've opened here already. This is what the design is all about. And also Figma Fig Jam, where you can do your workflow and all these things, user flow, as you can see, user personnel, you can be a structuring here and a couple of things you're going to learn, chat. So I'm just going to push it through. Okay. Alright. So what again have I not talked about? So we now know how to download Figma, we know how to create an account, we already know what Figma Jam is, we know what the Figma design. Now the Figma slide, so you want to create a slide, maybe after designing and you've done your user workflow, you want to create slide, you can create slide. When you click on slide creation to load up, let's let it load. Alright, so you see. So you can pick templates, uh, and start creating. Alright, so start creating a slide. So that's how it works. So that's for it's just a template. Um, and you can, let's click that's for design, that's for the slide. I'm just showing us around. Now, also the Figma community, you can see the Figma community, right? And click on community here. Click on the community, get stuff from the community, plugins. We're going to be learning all these things. We're going to see how we can use plugins and how the community can be useful to us as well. Maybe see UI, iOS UI kits for Figma. So you can get templates from here for UI iOS 16. That's the new, what do you call it, the new version for iPhone. Material UI for Figma. No, a lot of them. So you can browse them. So that's where the community is. A lot of things are published that you can reuse, instead of you, building from the scratch again and all that. So you can just reuse them. That's what the community is for. You learn from others, collaborate, and all this. Alright, so another alternative tool you can use is Adobe XD Sketch, Innovation, Sketch for people using Mac. So, here you can see something we are doing. Uh, this is the tray for the frame, rectangle, pen, text, and all that. So for our next, when we start Angular, we get information about this thing. And when you click on frame, you can see phone, phone frame. You can use. When you click on phone frame, you can start designing and all those things. So the frame, I can create a box, right? Then add some curve, you know, add some uh, variants, uh, something, add effects, a lot of effects here. Drop shadow, stroke. We're going to be learning a lot of things, right? So this is just for and some strategy behind doing an app, strategy behind um, how you can position and structure your application, your traits, your text, and everything inside an application. You're going to be learning all that for the hands-on and all. So this is just introduce us. You can also add. You can also draw with pen, pencil. Now you can do some example. You can. A lot of things you can actually do. Let me show you something that's been done. Okay, if I close that. I'll go back. So I'm switching back to my other account. So we're actually done with this class. So I'm just want to show us some few things that we can do, and say it's loading. You can see you want to add design or add not depending on what you want to do. So you also learn what each page means as well. Why do you need Figma Jam? Why do you need to open a design machine? So you won't say, I want to design an app, you not be opening Figma Jam. So all these things you get to know them as you start learning. Alright, but if you wait for this to load and check our time. the network. So while you're I think it's open. Okay, network, come on. It's actually loading. So this is just also a mock-up. Come on. So it's actually loading. Let's just share a couple of things. But, alright, so guys, just want to share a couple of things, but I think it's loading like forever. Um, so that's for that. So now we already know how to download Figma, we know how to create an account, um, we know how to get into the environment. And from next class or when we start to do some hands-on, we're going to understand because as we are going to be discussing the theoretical aspect, we're also be doing the practical aspect, doing some hands-on. So we're going to be having like two sessions in the class, the theory and the hands-on. And as time goes on, it's just the hands-on. So Figma is the tool we're going to be using to use Figma Jam. There are other tools for user flow. We have Miro, um, type them here, other tools for user flow. You can check on it, Miro, arises in Figma flow. It's also Figma Jam can replace that. So we are just going to be using Figma Jam and all that. So thank you so much. I hope this class was really um, I hope this class was really impactful and you can ask any questions. Like I said, it's going to be a class on Saturday, a final free class on Saturday for us to ask questions, make any comments, and all of that so that we can be able to address them. So after watching this video, um, I believe that you will be much interested because one of the reasons why you started to join us in the first place is because you're interested in learning. So I'm going to drop the registration link, right? I'm going to drop the registration link um, on the group chat. I'm going to drop the registration link. So you just go through the registration and then register. Of course, to start the course proper with us, you're going to be paying a sum of 50,000 naira to start the course proper with us from the beginning of the bootcamp to the end. And at the end of the course, you'll be given a certificate only if um, you do your assignments, and obviously because that's the honest of learning, do your assignments, and you also participate, most especially you participate in the final year project, right? So you're going to be certified at the end of the course, and that's going to be a lifetime value that you've added to yourself just with a token of 50,000.